Hi all! Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Good morning, everybody. You guys are really enjoying these space pictures, so we're going to keep with that theme. What you're looking at today is a picture of Saturn in infrared, and I give full credit to NASA for the photo. Absolutely amazing. We have some information to cover now. I have to tell you that I have slowed down somewhat on the reading of the book. It's really hard to stick with this book. Like it really is. It like gets in your head. So what I'm having to do is slow down. So I'm going to read chapter by chapter, and as I finish each chapter, I will continue on telling you guys my takeaway from the chapter. Okay, that's just what I have to do for my own ridiculous sanity of reading into somebody else's mental illness. It's very hard to read into somebody else's mental illness. Very difficult. All right, we have a lot to cover, and Charles and Camilla have been out and about doing all kinds of interesting things as well. So let's just jump in and get there, shall we? Let's go. All right, to start off, you guys remember I showed you this picture of Charles standing next to a tree that was 400 years old. Well, this follower sent me a picture of a 1,000-year-old tree in England. Apparently, there's a lot of these. It's called the Big Bellied Oak. Next up, one of my followers sent me this as well. It's a vintage long stitch tapestry of Paddington Bear dreaming of going on holidays. And it's a beautiful tapestry, as you can see, and the follower offered to send it to me, which unfortunately is not possible. If you're in the UK, though, hang on to it, because when I come to the UK next year for a visit, maybe we can meet up in a pub. Sounds good to me. Now, yesterday I showed you this where Harry said that he was willing to do part-time work and they said no. One of my followers, gleefully me, pointed out that Harry keeps applying for part-time work, which demands full-time job benefits when the position clearly isn't part-time. So that's why the judge has not allowed his arguments to proceed. Just FYI, that argument was thrown out. And remember, we talked about how Harry kind of saw Diana in his mom in his wife. It was kind of creepy. Anyway, this particular follower of mine said that if you look up the TV show Frasier, season 7, episode entitled Mamma Mia, there's a little bit of a thing going on and it's hilarious and you should watch it. So there you go. One more thing before we get going. Remember I told you my neighbor has a thing where if she takes a pot, she doesn't return it until it's filled with something, or, kind of like my cake dish, remember? And when she got COVID, I made her some soup in this very big pot that you're seeing. And I kept waiting for her to return it. And she kept saying, I can't return it empty. So I knew if she was going to return it, it was going to be filled with some fabulous soup or, something, because she's such a good cook. She finally returned it full of UK chocolate. Just what my diet doesn't need, but thank you anyway. All right, moving on. All right, we're starting off this morning on a stretch of the river, I think it's called Thames, however you want to say it. The annual census of the swan, known as swan upping, is going on. This apparently is an important part of wildlife conservation and education. So how it works is they travel in these wooden boats across 79 miles of river. They locate the family of swans. They surround the birds, lift them out of the water. They're weighted and examined and then put back. Pretty cool. Interesting tradition, but very necessary. All right, moving on. All right, you guys, Edward put out a statement about the Commonwealth Games, and the reason for that is they're getting ready to start. The baton that I previously told you about has finally reached Victoria Square in Birmingham after a 294-day journey to 72 nations. I think that's pretty cool. Can't wait to see the footage collected on the camera. All right, moving on. All right, next up, Anne was out the day before at the Tower of London to visit Superbloom. She had a tour around the moat, and she met some of the Superbloom volunteers and staff who worked on the display. Love it. Maybe it's me, but it seems that Anne is picking up more and more duties. All right, moving on. Next up, we have the Duchess of Gloucester, who visited the annual tennis championships in Windsor last week. They were held over 3 days, and she is their patron. Love it. Maybe it's just me, but didn't I read somewhere that she and her husband were going to like quietly retire? And that doesn't seem to be happening at all. Now, while the Duchess of Gloucester was there, the Duke of Gloucester was in Synologic, I believe is how you say it, where he represented the Queen's Award for Enterprise. This place does innovative solutions, and that was one of the winners in the innovation category. Absolutely love it. Again, I was under the impression he and his wife were going to slow down on the plaque openings and all of this, but maybe I read it wrong. All right, moving on. Next up, Charles and Camilla went to the Sandrigham Flower show in Sandringham. Now, there's a little bit of video. They arrived by carriage. Watch this. There's a lot of video. They walked around, they got flowers, they looked at gingerbread houses, a lot of stuff going on. They greeted people. So what I'm going to do is show you a very, very short video compilation of what went on. I edited it down. It's super short. Watch this.
Yeah.
And you really ought to spin that round, not spin it round, and it does say to turn it round.
Yes, that's right.
Absolutely remarkable.
I don't know how many years I've I'll be with you in a second. Don't you worry.
Dogs. It's the first time this one has been here. No, that's for me. I use her as a pets therapy dog. I love doing it. Yeah.
So as you can see, a fabulous day was had by all. The crowds were very happy to see them. They received applause when they arrived. They received applause when they left. And of course, animal lovers that they are, even going through the throngs of crowds, they had to stop to pet the doggy. Look how cute. Absolutely adorable. All right, let's move on now to the other side of the royals. All right, we're going to start with Omid Scobie now. This picture was done by somebody on Twitter named Kenzie. And if you look at the beginning, he was a really good-looking young man. Now, you never know what goes on in somebody's head that they feel that they constantly have to have surgery to make themselves look better. I'm not sure what that is, but you can see he was a really good-looking young man initially. My point is, I think you shouldn't body shame people, fat, thin, scars. You don't body shame people. And even Omid said once, as it was pointed out by Royal Instablog, that you don't body shame. That's a no-no. It was October of last year. He said, I don't criticize anybody's appearance. I don't condone it, and I don't do it. That, my friends, is why the internet is forever. That you have the context of it. This person, Lorraine King, put up that every account that's parachuted into my mention to slag off Meghan has a fake profile picture. Why don't they show their real faces? And you see Omid's response. Have you seen the state of those that do use their pictures? All that free time to hate, but not a minute spare to moisturize. I'm sorry. I thought he said he doesn't criticize people's appearances. What happened? That didn't take long. And while we're on the topic of Omid Scobie, this article, which was put up in May, says that Omid was given a cease and desist by a law firm to stop bothering Yankee Wally, which he was. I mean, some of his tweets were really bad. Now, here's the interesting thing. As usual, everybody's going, it's a cease and desist. It's a cease and desist. People, cease and desist letters are not enforceable. They're nothing but a shot across the bow. That's it. it's not enforceable. I don't understand why people don't get that, but it's not enforceable. But supposedly, legal action was being taken to stop the harassment, threats, and stalking of Yankee Wally by Omid Scobie. Interesting that that was happening. I don't know why he's after her, but yeah, I don't know. I would like to see the cease and desist before I agree with this article. For me, the proof is in the pudding. So I want to see that cease and desist. And until I see it, it's not there. All right, moving on. All right, now we're going to turn our attention. Apparently, it's being reported and alleged that the photo of Harry and Meghan's daughter that was put out over anger. Not because they wanted to show their daughter off on her first birthday, but it was done because they were mad at the way they were treated over the Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebrations. Now, we know that they were invited to all of the events, but they wanted to be top tier and sit with the other royals, and that wasn't going to happen. So they made the decision not to attend anything but the church service, and they tried to take that over by showing up late. Remember, they left early before the celebrations were even over. And don't forget that Meghan had said before that she didn't want to serve her children up on a platter to the waiting media. And we know that they were kept to the back because they were going to try to steal the Queen's thunder. So they decided they were going to try to steal the thunder by putting out their daughter's photo. But guess what? It didn't work. Well, now the stories are coming out. We already knew this. As soon as Meghan heard about the book, she did everything she could to block the journalist from speaking with people that she didn't want him to talk to. She tried to get them to bar. Her attorney got involved. It's all in the book, and it's all out in the news. Now, here's the interesting thing. Other people who have had their lives ripped apart by Tom Bower have worked with Tom Bower to make sure that the right narrative was put out. And they're saying that she did a foolish thing by ignoring Tom Bower. She would have been happier with the book if they could have told their story to Tom Bower, right? But apparently everybody there refused to talk. Now, articles are coming out saying that Harry and Meghan will not address the allegations in the book. But there's something that I saw on Twitter which absolutely caught my attention. One of the Harry and Meghan people said, well, when you're as famous as them, there's going to be speculation, and it doesn't do them any good to answer and rebut those claims. But here's the truth of it. When you are as litigious as Harry and Meghan are, and you see all of the speculation, if they don't sue for this book, the public is going to draw their own conclusions, and the conclusions that will be drawn that this is a meticulously researched and factual account with 80 well-informed contributors, and it's completely true. All right, moving on. All right, just a little touch-up thing here about the lawsuit that's going on. You know, Meghan, rather than saying that Samantha is wrong about the only child thing, she's saying that her statements were not meant to be a statement of objective fact. In other words, Meghan knows she has half siblings, but her remark was a textbook example of a subjective statement about how a child feels about their childhood. And what this article is saying is that official statements often deploy this sub-Freudian lingo, but it's not really meant for public consumption. In other words, for two pairs of eyes in particular, Harry and Meghan's addiction to therapy talk as an outlet for self-pity overwhelms everything, even, it's saying, the notion of truth. You know, I agree with the article. We're living in a post-truth age, a time of alternative facts, fake news, and algorithmic distortions. And Meghan is the Grand Duchess of post-truthiness, which is why she gravitated back to Hollywood, which is la la land where rich people can buy their reality and blather on endlessly about their mental well-being. Even their Sussex royal thing is, I feel, I say, you know, that kind of thing. So with that, one of my followers, BJC, pointed out that her subjective feelings are that she's 28 years old, but the objective fact is she's nearly 70. And Tada pointed out that she is also of a very rare vintage. Nothing wrong with that. Tada also asked if Meghan Markle was subjectively single as a child, was she also subjectively pregnant? Good thought. All right, Tom Bower's book also says that Harry and Meghan will not be able to stop the feud with William and Catherine because Meghan likes to be the victim. We've already seen this victim mentality. It's been going since 2018. And I have to tell you, in all honesty, that after reading about how Meghan bullied Charlotte and all of this stuff that's going on, that, Kate had cried, that, Meghan had told yet another porcupine during the Oprah interview, all of these things, you guys know that there's always their truth, the other person's truth, and the truth in the middle. But as long as Meghan is running around claiming that she's the victim, Harry and William will never be able to solve the rift. But to be fair, I think Meghan wants it that way, so. All right, the next article that came out said that Harry and Meghan's brand is boring. I have to agree. They haven't really done anything but headline grab, and their behavior. They're saying that had they gone to Netflix and Spotify today and made the same offer, they would never be given those contracts that they were given. That's just the way it is. Moving on, we know, because we read it in the book, that the royals were very upset with Meghan because she gave every reason under the sun, from I can't travel anonymously to people will find out, why she won't go see her dad. But now nobody understands her reasoning because her dad's had a stroke. He can't speak. And she still, to this day, has not reached out to him while she's still going on and telling everybody about, love and inclusivity and all of this stuff. Compassion in action, and yet she won't even reach out to her dad. Yeah. All right, now I'm including this article just to show you how accurate other people's reporting was. So Tom Bauer is pointing out that there was a huge explosive fight right before the Commonwealth Day service at Westminster Abbey in 2020. That was supposed to be Harry and Meghan's final engagement as senior royals. Well, we already know that right before the service, Harry and Meghan were told that they would not be walking in the family procession through Westminster Abbey. The order on the, what do you call those things? The programs that were handed out even showed that he wasn't walking with them. So in order to appease them and stop the fight, then William and Catherine said, you know what? We'll walk in separately also. We won't do the whole family thing, just to make it better. Now, it said in the article that it was done in deliberately in order to humiliate Harry and Meghan. That's not why it was done. They were simply giving them what they wanted, which was a step down from being senior royals. That's all. We all saw the pictures. We all know how mad Harry was. Harry was getting a taste of his future life. You never know. At that point, he might already have been regretting his decision. All right, these articles I just put in here just to show you how stupid they are. William and Catherine have plans to break America and be bigger than Harry and Meghan. They don't need to break America. They're already bigger than Harry and Meghan, and they're not even in the United States. They're bigger globally than Harry and Meghan. It's the PR thing that, of course, Sunshine Sachs is putting out, trying to salvage their reputation, Harry and Meghan's reputation. Look at this. Kate and William desperate for PR boost because Meghan and Harry steal the U.S. limelight. Really? Who are they kidding? Oh, my God. That's one of the stupidest things I've ever read. Sorry. All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of information, lots of stuff for you to comment on. And obviously, I'm reading your comments, so just keep putting them in because I want to know your thoughts on everything. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you've already hit the button, don't forget to double check and make sure you're still subscribed. Okay? And if you haven't hit the button before, go ahead and hit it. You can follow me on Twitter, Getter, Rumble. You can email me. For those of you who have donated to my coffee fund, I don't know what's wrong with me today, and through the thanks button, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.